G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Tuesday the 9th of the 4th, 2019 and the time here is 10:17 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time. Well folks, a couple of things. One, you won't be seeing my face today. I have inadvertently misplaced my camera, and can't find it, so no picture. Secondly, just an update on Stroppy Me, if everyone's interested. Poor old Strop is having some major health issues at the moment, so it's mainly stress related, so he's taking some time off. Hopefully he'll come good soon and start putting out some more videos. Thirdly, as regards to interviews, right, I don't know why all of a sudden all my interviews have a bloody big pinging sound or a bloody they're impossible to hear. Look guys, I'm half deaf. I'm actually 3/4 deaf pretty well, and I can watch those videos and I can hear them. I don't know what's wrong with your end. Honestly don't know. Yeah, some of them are a bit echoey, but look, not to the point where people are writing me stupid comments saying, oh, this is shit, blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay, well the sound might not be great, but just listen to the content. That's the whole point. It takes a lot of time and effort to do the interviews. I don't do them because I think they're fun. I do them because I think you guys need to hear the information. The information that David provided last time was sensational, in my opinion. So, watch the videos. I'm going to try and organise something better, but to do that I've actually got to go to an IT specialist and find out just why this is happening. Because at my end there is nothing wrong. These guys get interviewed by everyone else all the time, so I'm actually starting to think there's something going on. It's nefarious. Okay, my sponsor. My great sponsor. Totally Rawsome. This is their website. They sell golden activated turmeric paste, as is indicated here. As I said, I don't just promote anything. I use this stuff. It's fantastic, and I'm also using it for my dog, because if he's got a bit of a problem with his back leg, his hip, so it's actually working really well. This is where you can find them. Contact details: Bundles Farmers Market every Sunday, 6 AM to 11:30 AM. There's a contact there, and if you want to join the mailing list, please do so. Okay, Australian politics, or the Australian, what's the word? It just, you know what? People shouldn't be allowed to vote if they're stupid. That's if they don't know what they're voting for. These guys don't give a rat's ass about you, me, or anyone else for that matter. And I'm going to prove that to you with this. There's a couple of things that I'm going to prove to you guys. The election is obviously coming up in the next couple of weeks. And this is what Bill Shorten thinks of. And I can't even imagine why an Australian politician is actually doing this. Honestly can't. It baffles belief. This bloke here, this sleazy shitwit, has decided to go on Chinese WeChat, to actually distance himself from one of his own party, Labor Party people, saying that the Chinese are coming here and taking all our jobs. I'm serious. I'm going to leave the link so you can read this. He said that China should not be viewed as a threat, but rather as a strategic opportunity. If you guys, I know some of you follow Dave Lee. He's done a video on this because we discussed this, and he's done a video on this which was very good. What this does, and what this should tell everybody, is we should be really shit scared worried about just where this is all going with China. And I've said this before. This is now a really big worry. Why is the opposition leader? He's not even in government. This guy. Why is this guy going on a Chinese website and telling the Chinese that he backs them over Australians? And this is my point. Listen to this. Where is it? Two members of the chat group asked the opposition leader about his party's policy towards China and why he had not come to the defence of the community after critical media reports about the activities of Chinese interests. Mr. Shorten said he welcomed the rise of China and said did not see Beijing as a threat. Oh, well, what the bloody hell is the South China Sea Islands, mate? I see China as a strategic opportunity for Australia and I want to see greater mutual understanding between all of us, he said. But he added that Australia needs to stand on its own 2 feet and think for itself. Well, I'm sorry, but this guy's an absolute dipshit. And honestly, folks, I'm hoping that you all share this because you might not have seen this, but this is actually super important. This guy here could one day be the Australian Prime Minister, and what he's actually doing is actually kowtowing to the Chinese. Can you imagine what would happen if China invaded Australia while this guy was Prime Minister? He would actually, to save face to the Chinese, etc., he would actually say, oh, well, we can't rise up against the Chinese because they're going to help us out. That's his thoughts. That's his mindset. And that's his party's mindset. I tell you, folks, you've got to be super worried about this because this is not right. There is a form of treasonism about this, and I use that term lightly, but I just cannot believe that an Australian presidential prime ministerial candidate is actually telling the Chinese that he prefers Chinese people working and living here than Australians. Listen to this. I believe everybody living in Australia should study conversational English. But university English test is a standard that this government puts into place to make it harder for some people to become Australians. What a joke. That's just crazy. Oh, I don't know. Look, that's not the only one. Wait till you see this one. Well, folks, I'm really glad that I saved this because they've actually taken this off the ABC website by the look of it. Basically, what this West Australian Premier is saying is that if you are white and you have any thinkings that do not match the current left way of thinking, then you are he's claiming is both two things, an extremist and a nationalist. Far-right nationalism, a bigger threat to WA than Islamic extremism. Look, I wish you could see my face, but you can't. But look, folks, this is just unbelievable. Like, this is where we've gotten to in our era of governments, where these people actually think that people actually believe this shit. Mark McGowan says far-right nationalism a bigger threat to WA than Islamic extremism. Just listen to the way that's worded, folks. So basically, anybody who doesn't believe or listen to or adhere to the same way of thinking as dipshits like this that are on the front page and all that sort of crap, then you are actually classed now as being an extremist and a far-right nationalist. You can't make this shit up. You honestly can't. And this is why people shouldn't be allowed to vote, because they have no frigging idea of what they're doing. And this proves it with headlines like this. Okay, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about today, because this affects everybody. And I mean everybody, doesn't matter where you are in the world, this affects everybody. No one's paying too much attention to it, but that's a fact. I got a fair few comments on one of my videos that I did recently, where I actually said, and you can find the video and listen to what I said. I said they are going to actually do two things. One, they will actually force another referendum to be held, and 2, this May, whatever her name is, will actually form a war cabinet, so to speak. And there you go, folks. Everyone said that I was mad, it'll never happen, and here we are. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. That was a phone call from my son to tell me that my mother-in-law's just had a stroke, so not good news. Look, I'll finish this up, but as they say, the show must go on. Look, this has huge implications for everybody, this Brexit, and if you're not paying attention to it, then you really need to, because what happens here in the next couple of weeks is going to be basically what happens worldwide with regards to your rights as a citizen, etc., etc. If you haven't figured it out already, the population voted for, they want to get out of the Euro, they want to get out of Europe, they want to be their own country, and basically what's happened since then is this European Union plus the people in power, don't get this wrong, some of the people in power in the UK government are physically trying to stop them from leaving. So this is a huge, huge issue, folks, and if you're not paying attention to it, you really need to. Now remember that if Hillary Clinton had gotten into power in the UK, this would have been what would have happened in the US, basically. So you need to pay attention to what's happening here, and that's the best that I can say. And look, I'm going to leave it there. I'm a little bit upset, so I'm going to we'll say the prayers, and I'll catch up with you. Okay, folks, verse of the day. For if, while we were God's enemies, we were reconciled to him through the death of his Son, how much more, having been reconciled, shall we be saved through his life? And as always, folks, we'll end with the Lord's Prayer. And I'm obviously going to say this prayer for my mother. She's my mother-in-law, but I love her dearly, and she's like my mum, so I even call her mum. So if you could say this prayer for my mother-in-law, it'd be much appreciated, because she's in hospital and not in a good way. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen.